Oh, yeah! Steppin on the beach, the only place to read your emails and your tweets. It's Wednesday, November 25th. Happy Thanksgiving week to all of our American listeners. Hope you and your family are staying safe this holiday season. I'm Jay Skeets, and alongside me, as always, we got Tass Mellis.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody.
Hey, Tassie. We got the Bats Master, Trey Kirby.
Hey!
Yo! We got the international man of mystery, taking it to the max, Lee Ellis.
Friends.
And last but not least, making this magic happen is JD.
Hello.
There he is. Here we are. Quick shout out to the stream team joining us live right now on YouTube. Nice to see you guys. Thanks to everybody who sent in questions over the last couple of weeks. It's been a while since we hit the beach. Sort of caught me by surprise. I think it's like 3 weeks since we've hit the beach. So keep your questions coming, though. Always email us, nodunks@theathletic.com, or you can tweet at us at nodunks_inc. We actually have a fun little twist to today's beach Steppin questions. Tass will explain that in a second. But before we get to that, a few things. One, Black Friday deals are right around the corner, and The Athletic has a banger for you. Starting tomorrow, which is Thursday, November 26th, The Athletic is offering a $1 a month deal for 12 months, baby. Yeah, you heard me. For the greatest sports coverage in the world on the best deal of the year. All of The Athletic, all year long, $1 a month for 12 months, and you can cancel anytime. Go to theathletic.com/nodunks so they know the boys sent you, and that deal is actually going to run from Thursday, November 26th to December 4th. So you have a little bit of time. Go to theathletic.com/nodunks. If you haven't already, get yourself the Athletic subscription. Hey, give it as a gift if you want. $1 a month for 12 months. That is nuts. All right. So we got some little NBA news. Let's call it a free agency roundup. Now, we did big shows on Saturday and Sunday where we talked about a lot of the signings, a lot of the trades, but there's been some stuff since. You guys just jump in. I'll go through some of the news, and if you got something to add to one of these things, by all means. The first one, we had a bunch of guys sign 5-year extensions. Bam Adebayo, Brandon Ingram, Jason Tatum, and Donovan Mitchell, all signing those big deals. Nice to see these guys get paid, Tess.
Yeah, let's stick with Bam Adebayo, though, for a sec. Surprised that the Miami Heat took themselves out of the Giannis sweepstakes for next offseason. It sure feels that way. It was weird because a lot of teams were putting themselves in the position to have max room for Giannis in 2021. Those teams were the Heat, Raptors, Mavs, and Knicks. And now the Heat all of a sudden took themselves out of it, most likely by signing Bam this year instead of next offseason. So it's just a little shocked by that. They seem to be working around the edges, signing Gore and Dragic to a big number this year so they could have some money for Giannis next year. But unless the Bucks are taking back assets from the Heat, Giannis is either staying with the Bucks or going to one of those other teams that still have room in the Raptors, Mavs, or the Knicks, who are always ready to take on a big free agent.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Hawks signed Bogdan Bogdanovic as the Kings declined the offer for him. 4 years, $72 million. So he is an Atlanta Hawk. He will not be with the Kings, Trey.
Do you think we'll ever think about Bogdan Bogdanovic this much again in the rest of our lives? We spent, I feel like, a week thinking about if this guy's going to be a Buck. Is he going to be a King? Is he going to be a Hawk? Is he going to be a King? He's officially a Hawk. And you got to wonder, is the youth movement over in Atlanta? Because signing Bogdan Bogdanovic and Danilo Gallinari, those are some big money deals. You assume they'll be the starters. That would be at likely the shooting guard and small forward position, where a lot of Hawks draft picks are currently residing. Kevin Herter, Cam Reddish, DeAndre Hunter, they've all just been in the league a couple of seasons, but it feels like they're going to be going a little bit further down on the depth chart now. Probably a smart move. You know, Trae Young apparently wanted some help around. He's got help now. The Hawks have certainly gotten better. just feels like they got a lot of guys at this point.
It feels like they have a ton of guys. Yeah, it feels like there's 10 or 11 guys there. But again, that's probably a good thing for a team when Trae Young went to the bench were complete garbage and you didn't even want to watch them. But what do you think, Lee, about the Hawks movement here that they've done? They've had a busy offseason.
Yeah, they've been very, very busy, and I think the team has improved a lot. I mean, it all has to still come together on paper, but you look at the guys now on the floor, there's some shooters out there for Trae Young, which is really, really important because he's probably still going to average 25 a game because he likes to get his shots, which is fair enough. But now he can pass the ball. He's got Gallinari out there, Bogdanovic, as we've talked about. If he can be FIBA Bogdanovic, a bit like FIBA Dragic down there in Miami, then things are very, very bright down in Atlanta. The only thing is that backcourt is a little bit thin defensively. I think that's a little bit of a problem here for the Hawks. But I think their first problem, which was addressed by Travis Schlenk, is just get help for Trae Young. And he's gone out and done that. The big question going forward is what happens with John Collins now with the Atlanta Hawks. It appears to me he's not a big part of their future, but we'll wait and see how things transpire. But that's quite a scoop that they landed Bogdanovic, because it was, a week ago when he was basically a Milwaukee Buck. And then the Lakers were apparently trying to make a run for him, and he ends up in Atlanta. So that's a pretty good free agency / draft week here for the Hawks.
Yeah, it's almost like the Giannis free agency is sort of looming as the cloud over this free agency right now. But the Hawks signed two of the biggest names in Gallinari and Bogdanovic. Just doesn't happen very often, but they have too many guys now. They just literally have too many guys and sort of a glut in the front court there, because you don't want to play Gallinari at the 3 or these young guys buried, as Trey said. I don't think they're done. They're not going to go 12 deep next season. They've still got to make some moves.
Yeah, it's funny too that they have Capella, because we've never seen him play in a Hawks game or in a Hawks jersey yet too. It feels like almost that's like a signing from this offseason. Of course, they got him last year. All right, some other sort of minor deals, if you want to call them that. The Lakers traded JaVale McGee to sign Marc Gasol. Marc Gasol is not going to Spain. He's headed to the champion Lakers. It's a nice pickup for them. Markieff Morris is also returning to LA. The Raptors, because they lost Serge Ibaka to the Clippers, they lost Marc Gasol to the Lakers. Well, they pivoted pretty quickly. They signed Aaron Baines, Bainesy Lily, Chris Boucher, Alex Don't Steal My Sunshine Len, and DeAndre Bembry. Not a center in the mix there, but former Hawk player, 2 years, $4 million. So they did a lot as well. Again, that was a quick sort of move after Ibaka and Gasol were gone. They go and get Bainesy. Probably overpaid for him a little bit, but they needed a center on the roster.
I tell you what, though, Bainesy is going to be a very valuable signing for that team. A very, very good player.
Times 2.
I'm actually very excited because losing Marc Gasol sentimentally is a bit of a blow for the Raptors. Everyone loved him there. But let's be honest, Marc Gasol wasn't very good down in the bubble. He looked old, and he sort of looked like he'd lost his step a little bit there. Aaron Baines is 33, but you're going to get solid defense. He's going to set screens, and he shot 35% from 3 last year on 1.5 makes a game. And he's a good passer, a good facilitator. So he slots into that team and really does fill a hole for them, missing Marc Gasol and Serge Ibaka. And I think that's actually turned out okay for the Raptors. I really do. I think he's a very good signing. Alex Len, he kind of stinks, so I don't think well, he does. Let's be honest. Alex Len's not very good. He's the insurance policy of like break in case of emergency type of like garbage time pickup there. But DeAndre Bembry is also another nice little pickup there for the Raptors. Yeah. We saw him down in Atlanta. He's an energy guy. He comes off the bench and he's going to give you a spark. So overall, considering, a couple of days ago they had no bigs, now they've got one and a bit, and they've got a guy who can come out there and play. So a pretty good offseason to get as well for the Raptors overall.
What do you think, Tass, as a Raps fan, with the pivot there from Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster after they lose their 2 bigs?
The boys recovered well in the front office, no doubt. Aaron Baines feels like an old school Toronto fan favorite.
Oh, yeah.
Right? He's got some Matt Bonner in him. People will be cheering for Bainesy. I think that people go to a bit of an extreme, though, thinking, Marc Gasol wasn't good. Aaron Baines is just as good, even better. You know what? They're better on the floor with Aaron Baines. Absolutely not. That's not the case. And people think he's a modern-day big who shoots a ton of threes. Last year was the first year he hit more than 1 3 per game. He hit like 1.2 threes per game. He's 34 years old. He's not a young buck by any means. These aren't prime Aaron Baines years, but he's going to be solid. He's going to play his role very, very well. They recovered well, and the biggest thing is they've got a max cap space ready for Giannis if he wants to come next year. I mean, that's definitely part of the plan. Just to keep it open, anyways, to see what's up
you
with
buy
Milwaukee.
into the conspiracy theory that Bam signed his extension with Miami because he has the same agent as Giannis, who you would theoretically said the agent says, "Hey, man, he's sticking here in Milwaukee. Might as well take that money down there in Miami."
Yeah, I believe the Greeks are always conniving. They're always working together. The Greek agent, Greek Giannis, for sure. Yeah, you never know. They're scheming. We're always scheming.
With Bainesy, am I crazy or did I dream this? Did he hit 9 threes in a game last season? That was a thing that happened, right?
Was it 9? I know he had one game where I think he did hit 9.
I think it was 9.
Yeah,
which is hilarious. So maybe that's the type of player that
he did. He went 9. He went 9 for 14 against the Portland Trailblazers last year.
Okay,
that's
couldn't remember if
37 points and
like
16 rebounds.
Yeah, that seems like a typo. That's unbelievable. That's crazy. Yeah. Well, speaking of the Suns, they re-signed Dario Saric, 3 years, $27 million. They also acquired Langston Galloway. The Rockets, they signed DeMarcus Cousins. Austin Rivers signed with the Knicks for 3 years, $10 million. The Cavs signed Matthew Dellavedova, Lili, and Damian Dotson. The Sixers signed Ryan Brokoff. It was a good day for Australians out there. Everybody was getting signed, all the Aussies except for Lee. The Pistons signed the Golden Arm, Wayne Ellington. And then final one here, I'll throw at you guys. In finalizing a trade for Steven Adams, the Pelicans signed him to a 2-year extension worth $35 million. So not Australian, but he's a New Zealander. He's a Kiwi. So good day for Team Oceanic. Lele.
Oh, very good day. Yeah, no, it's good. I mean, guys like Brokoff, he was on the Mavs last season. He got traded to the Sixers, and it was like he might not sort of stick around in the league, but he's back, which is good. And again, he understands his role. He's a deep rotation player, and if he can get a few minutes, that's great. But it's good to see. And Matthew Dellavedova, I mean, he signed that 4-year, $40 million deal in that summer of crazy when everyone was getting paid. And I think this year he's only on a minimum or a veteran minimum to return about $2.5 million. So things have changed a little bit. But Delly's another one. Like he goes there and he's going to contribute, going to play as hard as he can on both ends of the floor. Not expecting to be the starting point guard or anything like that, but when he's out on the floor, he's going to give you everything he's got. And I think coaches like that about him. So congrats to Delly.
I thought for sure when the Lakers were losing some guards there that they were going to go get Delly. I thought, he'll be going back with LeBron. The Lakers will get him. He'll be a fan favorite. I thought that was going to happen, but yeah, and right now at least, I mean, obviously things could happen. He's with the Cavs, so
yeah, he's getting the JJ Barea contract here. You won a championship, you went elsewhere to get paid. Come back, be a fan favorite forever.
LeBron is apparently a big fan of Delly. So
I know that's what I mean. I was convinced he was going to be signing with the Lakers for sure as sort of an end of the bench guy, but nope, stays in Cleveland.
He loves a Ruben.
Or no. Yes, indeed. Okay, again, before we get to the question, I want to do something else here. We're getting closer and closer in theory to the 2020-21 NBA schedule being released. I mean, we're playing basketball in less than a month, and we don't have the schedule yet. They're working their ass off, I'm sure, to try and figure it out, at least the first half of the season. So while it hasn't been announced, we're all expecting Christmas Day to feature the 5 national televised games. That's the sort of the thing the NBA does. It's a big deal. It's part of the reason why we're even starting, in late December here. So I wanted to steal a fun little idea from Ghostface Ziller. Tom Ziller had it in his newsletter, talking about what those games should be. Who should be the 10 teams that play on Christmas? My perfect NBA Christmas Day schedule. So I'll throw it at you guys who I think should be out there playing. Maybe you agree or disagree. Now, as Ziller wrote in his Good Morning It's Basketball newsletter, he wrote, the bias for Christmas Day should be toward really good teams, star players, and rising squads that the league wants to highlight. There are a few non-negotiable teams that need to be on there for those reasons. I agree with all 5 of these that he had. The Lakers, the Clippers, the Miami Heat, the Boston Celtics, and the Milwaukee Bucks, solely because of Giannis being a 2-time MVP. Then Ziller had 2 more teams that were not as good last year, but they're non-negotiable for this Christmas. That's the Nets and the Warriors. I think that's right too, and I actually have them playing each other. That was a little different than Ziller. So that's 7 teams: Lakers, Clippers, Heat, Celtics, Bucks, Nets, and Warriors. We need 3 more teams in the mix. I think the Blazers should be one of those teams, off the star power of Damian Lillard and the moves they've made. I think the 76ers have to sort of be in the mix with the construction of their current team, big moves they've made, and new coach. and being sort of one of those Eastern Conference teams as well, it sort of does come into play here. You need obviously some West Coast teams to play the late games, East Coast teams to play the early ones. And then it's tough for me on the final one. Nuggets feel like they almost deserve it. The Mavericks with Luka is big. Now Porzingis will be injured. He wouldn't be playing. And then the Pelicans with Zion Williamson. We know how much of a draw he is, and he was actually in one of the games last year, right? I think they played the Nuggets in the late game. It's a little tough. I'm going to go with the Nuggets. So here's my lineup, guys. 76ers versus the Celtics. We'll start the day with that. That'll be your 12 o'clock start.
Classic.
Yeah. Bucks Heat will be the second game. Okay. Warriors Nets. I want those two teams playing. I know that's, Western Conference, Eastern Conference. That could be a bit of a problem, but I want to see Steph versus KD, of course. Clippers Lakers. That seems like a no-brainer to me, because especially with guys, Montrezl Harrell leaving and stuff like that and going over to the other team. And then Nuggets Blazers would be my nightcap. Trey, how do you feel about that, NBA schedule? 76ers, Celtics, Bucks, Heat, Warriors, Nets, Clippers, Lakers, Nuggets, Blazers. Problems? Love it, hate it. Who am I missing?
I think you nailed most of the teams that are going to be in there, and I like that you have two matchups that are featuring a red team versus a green team. You got to do it
right
on Christmas Day, but it does feel eerily similar to me to the games that we saw last year. Like you're saying, we had New Orleans versus Denver. That's a hugely different one. I guess Golden State versus Houston is different, though. That to me is very similar to Warriors versus Nets, which you have, which I would have in the mix as well. And Milwaukee versus Philadelphia. There's your red-green matchup for that year. Now you're swapping in Miami and Philadelphia. It's tough to figure out. But yeah, I like the teams you're putting in the mix. Maybe you would have Doncic in there as well with the Mavericks. But like you're saying, no Porzingis. So yeah, let's bump the Nuggets into that slot. They made a conference finals. I'm happy to see them. Just trying to figure out which game I'm going to take a nap through, honestly.
Yeah, okay. What do you think, Tass?
Is this the year that the NBA doesn't put the Knicks on Christmas Day?
Well, they didn't last year.
Yeah, they didn't last year.
Oh, they didn't sneak them in. Or the Bulls as well. Like these two monstrous markets, keep them off. I guess that'll be the plan. Will Dallas get in there? I love the idea. I was actually flipping through an East Bay flyer, and I saw that Kevin Durant averages 30 points, 9 boards on 58% shooting. There he is. That's part of the flyer. I had to keep that stat. He is averaging 30 points on Christmas Day games. That's a monstrous line.
Cool.
Hey, KD, how are you, man? They drew him up there. So yeah, we got to get KD out there.
Of course.
I just worry that they're going to sneak in a Bulls or a Knicks or somebody just to juice up the ratings, because
I normally would be, but the fact that they went away from the Knicks last year gives me confidence that they won't go back to them again this year, especially with like no crowd in MSG too. Like, let's be honest, that maybe comes into play. I don't think the Knicks. The Bulls is an interesting one. Yeah, obviously huge market.
It's been a while since they've played a Christmas Day game. I'm at 2018. They still haven't played.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, it looks like the last time the Bulls played was 2016 on Christmas Day. But honestly, the Bulls, I hate to say it, they're one of the teams with the absolute least buzz in the league right now. There's nothing going on in Chicago.
Yeah, I don't think they'll be in the mix. What do you think, Lee? Who am I missing? Is there a snub? I mean, should Zion be a no-brainer? I mean, should we even do Grizzlies, Pelicans, and get, obviously Ja versus Zion? What do you think?
Yeah, I think I'd like to see those battles, and that's why I want to see Nuggets versus the Mavericks, even though Porzingis won't be there, because we saw Jamal Murray down in the bubble on the big stage. He was incredible, and obviously so was Luka, and I think they would really go at each other. We could see one of those, 45, 50-point face-offs against each other. So, don't
overthink it then. Go Donovan Mitchell versus Jamal Murray.
Well, so I thought about that because they had their great rivalry, but I just think Luka is probably the bigger draw out of those two. So I would like to see him. And Zion, yes, I would love to see Zion. The Pelicans don't really have that, rival right now. I know you can sort of say Ja Morant, but it's not really a rivalry. But I just think people want to see Zion because we got a bit of a taste of him last season, but it'd be great to see him early on. So, yeah, but the big one is Nets Warriors. I would love to see that. I think that's incredible. Pity we won't get Klay Thompson, of course, but still, I just think Kevin Durant, Kevin Durant going against his former team is something we would love to see. So
I think so. I was trying to think who's the biggest snub if I go with those 10, and if we don't count the Mavericks or the Pelicans. Would it be the Rockets? Like, the Rockets do have James Harden and Russell Westbrook still, it's like those are two huge names. And
who against though? Who against? Who would be the Rockets Nets maybe? I guess.
Yeah, that could work. And then I wonder is this a year where I doubt it because they want to just like hit those big markets and the star players like Ziller pointed out. But like, is this a year like where the NBA gets a little creative and like do they slip in a Suns? Do they slip in like a team that we're not used to having on Christmas Day? Like they just like roll the dice on a young team? Probably not.
I think you're more likely to get a Knicks versus Nets than slipping in something like the Suns. I honestly think the Blazers is probably a reach. I like that you have them included there because, we all definitely love Damian Lillard and he's well respected amongst basketball heads, but is he a huge star to the casual fan? I'm not sure, but he's certainly deserving of some major moments on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
What about 7 games? Started at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. Oh, yeah.
Wow. Okay, I don't mind that.
Sneak in 4 more teams.
It's already to ask something like, what is it? It's like 13 hours of basketball on the Christmas Day. You want to bump it up. You want to get close to 20. I love it. You're a wild man.
No, I mean, it's
just
13.
play 24 hours of basketball because the global market would be great for that. People around the world would be watching anytime. So
True.
There is a reason they're starting it the season this early. Christmas Day is definitely a huge part of it.
Start a game at midnight, call it the Santa special. Oh, it could be huge.
And then what's interesting with trying to build the Christmas Day schedule is we have no idea, of course, who will be the opening night schedule, right? Like who will be those 2 or 3 games that the NBA goes with? Or will there be more for all we know? I mean, the Lakers, they usually are always going to put the champions on the opening night. So you would think they'll be there, but then where else do they go? Is it the Nets because you want to see like KD out there in a Brooklyn uniform? Probably, but I guess you could still play opening night and then play Christmas. You have enough of a gap there. So
yeah, why can't all the referees be dressed as Santa Claus?
I love that
for every game?
Or
you've been naughty,
yeah.
Charge. You've been nice. Count it.
So let's hear from you guys. What do you think about the Christmas Day schedule? What's your favorite or craft your best one, your 5 games? Let us know at NoDunksInc or tweet or email us in nodunks@theathletic.com. Okay, speaking of email, let's get to the questions task because we do have a little spin to this week's cues.
Yeah, a little twist. People have been emailing in sort of sponsor adjacent questions that kind of have to do with all of our sponsors on our show. So every single question that we have today is somewhat connected to someone that has branded or bought a spot on our show. So they're pretty fun. They are pretty fun. So let's kick it off here. Hey, Yo-No Bunnies. Listening to Tassie talk about Indochino's easy no interaction process brought me back to when I got my Indochino suit in anticipation of post-grad job interviews. I feel obligated to mention that pre-COVID Indochino also had an outstanding in-person process. Wow, these ad spots getting pumped by the emailers here. I was never nervous and skeptical throughout the fitting, I was nervous and skeptical throughout the fitting until the very qualified Indochino employee tilted her head, looked at me and said, "What, you don't trust me?" I didn't. But then I remembered that I know nothing about clothes and put all my trust in this stranger. Once my suit arrived, I popped it on and wow, she killed it. I couldn't have made myself look this good if I tried. My question to you, when's the time you were hesitant about a stranger's knowledge, but due to your own ignorance, had to trust it anyway? Suits up, buttons down, tailored. That's from Alec. P.S. I got hired by an old internship and never used this suit for an interview. Trey, you got an answer to that question?
Well, like a lot of people, I'm taking on a lot more Thanksgiving responsibilities than I was anticipating this year. It's a Thanksgiving like none other. Ergo, I'm having to rely on YouTube for how to do basically everything that comes along with having a Thanksgiving feast. The big one right now is how to butcher a turkey. I have no idea how to do this. I don't even know if I should be doing this. The only thing that really changed my mind was like, I'm going to have to carve this thing at some point. It's either going to be freezing cold or boiling hot. I'm doing it when it's cold. And as soon as we're done recording here, I'm just going to be watching a bunch of people who I've never met before, who I've never tasted their food. Often you don't even see their face. We're just watching hands and arms cutting up a bird to figure out how I'm going to try and cook this thing. So I don't know. Do I go with the burly guy with no gloves and tattoos all over his arms who's just hacking through the backbone? Or do I go through the well-organized, planned-out, gloves-on woman who is delicately cutting this bird, and it looks surgical almost? I think I'm going with the surgical cuts here, but it could be a disaster in, I don't know, about another 12 hours.
Hey, here's what you do. Fire up the FaceTime, get Thody on the other end, and have him walk you through it. Thody can carve a bird.
That man can carve a bird?
I believe he goes pretty surgical. Yeah.
I would imagine. Yeah. Honestly, that was almost my other answer for this was when we had our first baby, we called Thody and we're like, hey, man, what baby monitor do you have? You are A dad, B, a technological savant. Yep. You're going to know the answer. He sent us one and it worked for a year and then it broke. But that's what happens with every single baby monitor.
Oh, okay. Okay. I also do love this, the idea of this Indochino employee, especially looking at Trey Kirby going, I got to ask you, Trey. Do you trust me? You're going to want a baggy pant.
Yeah, I'm going to need you to let out the hems a little bit here. I want a 20-inch leg opening. Give me some Jinko suits. Indo Jinkos.
Lee, you got an answer for this?
Yeah, mine's a little bit off the board here, but I was in my backpacking days. I was in Italy. I was in Rome. It was the middle of summer. Mm-hmm. And people always said to me, this was before we all had smartphones, okay? So, you could go into an internet cafe to book a room, but it was a little bit harder to do because the access just wasn't there. And everyone said, if you go to Rome, don't arrive in Rome without accommodation already booked because it's a nightmare. And I didn't. I went to Rome without accommodation booked, flicking through the Lonely Planet guide, trying to find a place, a hostel to stay in, and they were all just jammed. So I was walking around the street, and this old lady, she must have been 85, just came sort of hobbling up to me, and she's like, you want a room? And I'm like, yeah, sure, old lady. What the hell are you talking about? and she said, come with me. And I'm just like, well, yeah, sure. I've got nothing else going on right now. I was pretty hot and bothered. Anyway, she walks me down this alleyway, this laneway, and rings on this doorbell. There's a conversation between her and this other lady. This lady comes down and says, oh, you want a room for a couple of nights? I said, yeah, I do. Yeah. She goes, okay. She came on in. We basically stayed in this lady's house in Rome. The whole family was there, like kids, mom, dad, everyone there. A dog was in the house and everything. And we stayed there for like 4 or 5 nights. It was incredible. And this old lady, the only words in English she knew was, do you want a room? And I was like, yeah, all right, sure, old lady. Right. I trust you. It turned out to be one of the most fun stays I've ever had because it was like staying with this crazy old Italian family who were just really, really generous. Like in the morning, get up for breakfast. I had breakfast all there. Kids are just running around the house. It was like I was like a family friend, instead of just some random backpacker. So that was just incredible. Turned out to be the best place to stay that I think I've had because it was just so random and unexpected.
That's fantastic. I have actually a very similar story to that. I'll try and make it quick. But when I was returning I was in Australia for a good chunk of time. I was in New Zealand for a little bit. And then I had a final stop in the Cook Islands. I was going to be there for a month, in the South Pacific. I showed up. I was by myself at this point. I showed up. I found a hostel that I was going to stay in. So I forget if I arrived late at night or early in the morning. I think it was late at night. Yeah, it was late at night. I get in this taxi. I get dropped off at this hostel. It's pretty crappy. I remember flicking on the lights and roaches went absolutely everywhere. So it was one of the worst sleeps of my life. I slept probably an hour. It was brutal. Lights on. It was just so bad. I was like, okay, in the morning, I'm just going to wake up. It's a small island, right? At least in my mind, it was really small. And it is a small island. But I'm like, I'll just walk to the next hostel. I'm not staying here. This is brutal. So I started walking, at 9 in the morning or 8 in the morning. It's already smoking hot. I got all my stuff. And then a van pulled up beside me and was like, it was a woman. She's like, where are you staying? And I remembered they're pretty adamant. You have to have a place to stay. You got to fill it out in your customs and all that. Cause they don't want you camping on the beach and stuff like that. Yeah. So I was a little worried because I was now moving spots, but I was like, well, I don't know. I'm going to this other hostel. And she's like, oh, you don't want to go there either. Come stay with me. And I was like, what are you talking about? And I, for whatever reason, was like, all right, screw it. I just jumped in her van.
Sure, old lady.
Yeah. Hey, old lady, you seem cool. Do you have a dog? And like what you said, Leah, she just ended up taking me. She actually, it was a little better. She had a house where her and her husband and her kids stayed. And then they had a second house right beside them. And that was it was a small, basically hostel, but it was 3 rooms, right? And so I just stayed with them. I ended up staying with them for a month. And I ended up like eating with them all the time and helping around the house. Like, it was the best. It was absolutely the best. But like, I just jumped in the van. I was like, all right, where are we going?
that was Airbnb back in the days. You just get kidnapped basically. And
go my old ladies. That was traveling. That's what traveling was.
I'm telling you, man.
Just an old lady came and picked you up.
Yeah.
You never knew if you're going to get murdered or have a great time.
Yeah, one or the other, but you know.
But it was awesome. And then I remember I went and checked out the hostel that I planned on going to stay, and it was nicer than the Roach Motel, but it was still just a normal hostel. I mean, this was such a cool experience. But Tass, do you have an answer? Did an old lady ever kidnap you?
Unfortunately not. That would definitely be my answer right now. Not much luck with the old ladies. But I mean, I trusted John Hollinger last week when he gave us advice on the NBA draft and where draft picks were going. I don't know about college basketball. Just put all my trust in Johnny Holly. And he came through, obviously, because he does. I mean, he had some serious knowledge top to bottom. It was great talking to him, because otherwise I'd be talking about an old lady right now.
Exactly. All right, our next one here. What up, No Dinks? I despise the Magic Spoon ads. I get FOMO every time I hear Skeets talking about his favorite fruity flavor because they only ship in the U.S. What are some of your favorite products / things only available in a certain country? Thanks for all the laughs through quarantine and half of my freshman year. Frosted Flakes, Corn Pops, all brand. That's from Justin up in Vancouver, British Columbia, where he sadly cannot order that fantastic Magic Spoon. Oh, the fruity flavor. It's so good. Sorry, Justin, but Lee, a product, a thing only available in a certain country that really, really gets you.
Yeah, so the last couple of years we've been heading down to Lima for Christmas. That's where my wife is from, and we were probably going to go this year, but obviously that's not going to happen. And down in Lima, a lot of people, when they go to Peru, they skip over Lima and they go straight to Cusco to do the Inca Trail at Machu Picchu. But Lima has actually got some of the best restaurants in the entire world. Like, they've had like some of the top 10 ranked. They've had like 2 or 3 in the top 10 ranked in the last couple of years. Yeah, like some really, really good restaurants. And there's this one we go to. I don't know if this one was actually ranked in the top 10, but it's always one of the best ones in Lima. It's called Osaka, and it's a sushi restaurant. Now, sushi's not all that, exclusive to Lima. Of course, you can get that anywhere. But I will say that the sushi down there in Lima, because it's right on the coast, is so fresh and so great. Anyway, we're in there one night, and the waiter suggested we try this thing called a paiche. Right, this fish from the Amazon.
Sure.
Right, this is not just any ordinary fish. This is a big fish. There it is, right there.
Okay. So for those listening, this is a fish that I don't know how big is this.
It's like 3 meters long, apparently. And anyway,
bigger boat.
And that's what I was saying. Trey Kirby would. I'd like to see Trey Kirby try to reel one of those babies in down there. But anyway, so this guy and he sort of sold us a little bit like question one here. You sort of trusted the waiter for saying this is really good. This is really good. Anyway, he brought it out, and I'm telling you, this fish is unbelievable how it tastes. It's so like it's soft and it's almost buttery in the way that you eat. I've never ever seen it before in any other sushi restaurant, like or on any other place I've eaten sushi, but it is so good, and it is exclusive to that region around, like in the Amazon. So it's probably in Brazil and a few other those countries, but in Lima especially, this is the first time I tried it, and it was incredible. Wow. And so if ever you're in Lima, go to Osaka, have the paiche. You will love it.
Okay. I would love to see a travel show where you and Matt Austin go to these fine restaurants.
Oh, yeah. I would love to do that.
Who would pay, though? That would be the problem.
We could get a sponsor. Let's get Magic Spoon to sponsor it.
Oh, wow. Okay, you have to have cereal for dessert every
cereal every morning. That can be the whole premise of the show. Magic Spoon for breakfast and something else during the day for lunch and dinner.
Okay.
I'm in.
That'd be very weird, but maybe it's so weird it would work. Tass, you got an answer for this?
For me, it's a liqueur that's sort of native to the Mediterranean, masticha liqueur, which is the Greeks make it, the Bulgarians make it. It's from the mastic tree, which is primarily from Greece, where the mastic tree cures all. I mean, you can do everything with the mastic resin. It's been a cure-all for years, but they make a great liqueur. It's got this unique taste. I don't know, JD, if you ever had it.
Is it the same resin as they use in Retsina?
No, I don't think so. It's a different taste. I mean, it probably doesn't taste all that different. It definitely tastes like pine or cedar or like a nice wood.
Yeah, it sounds exactly the same.
Yeah. So Mastika. It's not around.
You can't order it.
Nah.
Wow.
Yeah, not even Amazon won't bring it. It's not native to Amazon.com. It won't bring it over here, unfortunately.
Wait for that. Trey, do you have an answer?
Yeah, Atlanta's leaf blowers are unparalleled around the world. You can only get them here. They're running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, 366 during a leap year, today included. Also, Canadian wheat thins are better than American wheat thins.
Ooh. Why so?
That's true.
I don't know. I've forgotten at this point. It's been so long, and nobody's ever mailing down wheat thins. You know, we'll get coffee crisps in the mail, but never a wheat thin. I remember it being a lot lighter and flakier. And then once we came back here to the States, the wheat thins were stodgy, as they would say, but still better than Triscuits.
Oh, wow.
Canadian Oreos are the same. Canadian Oreos are better, yeah.
Because they're just a little more delicate?
They're a little more delicate. There's 25% less of them. No, I'm kidding. It's I don't know. They're not as they're a little sweeter, I think. I don't know. There's something different about them for sure.
The more you know. There you go.
You know.
All right, we got lots more questions still to get to, but let's take a quick break to hear from some sponsors in a mailbag only episode where we talk about sponsors. Makes sense.
That all makes sense. The goal is to mention every single sponsor we've ever had on this show. I think we can pull it off. Well, I told you guys I've had cotton brain recently. It's like mush up there. Whenever I have to write anything, I'm struggling through it. I completed my self-review for The Athletic, and then I find out I have to write a review of the review process itself. But I completed it with the help of my old friend, a Grammarly. Oh, Grammarly. You got me writing and revising Grammarly. Grammarly. You want to make your writing stand out, be a clear and effective communicator, make better connections? Well, Grammarly Premium helps you elevate your writing through suggestions on tone, word choice, clarity, and more. My review of the review was absolutely top-notch. If I have to complete a review of the review, I'm going to nail it because I have my secret weapon, Grammarly. I might just do it for fun. That's how much I like using the premium feature. Grammarly Premium gives you real-time feedback on all your favorite sites and apps. You can use it on Outlook, Gmail, Twitter, LinkedIn, and more. Elevate your writing with 20% off Grammarly Premium by signing up at grammarly.com/nodunks. That's 20% off Grammarly Premium at grammarly.com/nodunks.
It's the M, the V, the M, the T. It's movement. Nice. Yes, our second favorite underdog success story, right behind No Dunks. Movement was founded on the belief that style shouldn't break the bank. They've sold almost 2 million products worldwide by bringing quality designs at fair prices. There is something for everybody. I remember it like it was yesterday, looking through all their different sunglasses and thinking Tass would love the highball. A couple weeks later, they look great on his eyeballs. I remember thinking how great JD would look in the runaway frames. A couple weeks later, they look like runaway flames. I saw the Reveler Slim, thought of Lee, and how they'd look great on him. And Skeets, I knew he'd like the Rex. A couple weeks later, he pops them on. Looks like sex. Movement has classic sunglasses and watches for everybody, no matter your style. I almost got a pair that had like a long gold chain on them.
You should have.
I should have. I went a little simpler because I've been breaking every other pair of my sunglasses, so I needed something a little more traditional. Went with the Icon. Looks great. And it's a perfect gift for the holidays because today you can get 15% off with free shipping and free returns by going to mvmt.com/nodunks. They're launching new styles on their site all the time, so check out their latest at mvmt.com/nodunks to get 15% off, free shipping, and free returns. Join the movement.
I think I'm going to wear my movement watch tomorrow for Thanksgiving. Dress up a little bit.
There
Not
you go.
going anywhere. Not
Little
having
leather
anyone
band.
over. But yeah, that looks good, Lily. I'm going to definitely rock that with a nice dress shirt. I'm wearing a dress shirt tomorrow. I'm getting real crazy. I haven't worn jeans since I think February. And I don't know. I can't remember the last time I wore a button-up shirt, but I'm throwing on that, and I'm throwing on the movement watch tomorrow for Thanksgiving. We're getting fancy. I'll have to
Feels so good. It feels so good to throw on some jeans, pull them over the legs.
Oh,
God, it feels good.
I can't wait, man.
Y'all
I
heard
can't
of
wait.
pants? This is an ad read for pants. They go on your legs. Go to pants.com/no
No dunks.
Limited time offer, 50%. They're called shorts, though.
Nice. Actually, speaking of shorts, and Lee threw up that watch. MVMT has glasses. Leah, I think, are yours broken there? Are your Armani exchanges? I know those are Armani exchanges. What's going on in that top?
That's just a little bit of perspiration there, Tassie.
Oh,
let me,
wow.
like painted or
Looks like
smashed.
working hard out here.
yeah.
Those takes are so hot.
Oh,
He's
there you go.
There-
Cranked up in there, eh?
Let's see that thermostat behind you. Is it 75 degrees?
This guy loves a sauna more than Mo Bernie.
Oh, MVMT, the Mo Bernie movement.
oh boy.
All right, let's keep going here.
Greetings, No Dunks crew. Let me preface this cool story by saying I've been a huge fan since TBJ. So when my sister said her company was doing some internal polling looking for influential athletes or sports podcasters, and then asked for my advice, I had but one answer. Jaylen Brown, of course. Since the company is based out of Boston, it seems like a perfect match. Beantown Boys for life. But my second suggestion was the No Dunks podcast. I sent her my list and thought nothing of it. A few weeks ago, I was listening to the podcast and let out an audible gasp when I heard an ad for the very company my sister works for being read by Skeets, Sonos. I couldn't believe after so many years of podcast suggestions falling on deaf ears, someone finally listened to my advice. The thrill and validation let me know I had finally made it to the top of the pyramid in American social media circles. I was an influencer, and completely by accident. So my question is, when have you guys been accidental influencers or influenced a friend's decision without thinking the person would actually listen to you? Good years on the hearse. Toe up. Doug you buys possum?
Yeah,
That's from Mike M.
That was a weird one.
Weird ending in the hearse thing.
Yeah.
Skeets, you got an answer for this. Accidental influencer.
Yeah, I think I'll have to go with something that we did on the show back, during the shutdown. And that was when we finally decided we were going to do a Survivor podcast. And we called it No Buffs. And I honestly thought 5 people will listen to this. I didn't even think maybe Tass and Lee would be in the mix with it, but you guys got into it as well. JD's a huge fan of Survivor, Trey, myself. But I was pleasantly surprised by how many people I feel like we influenced and got them hooked on the all-time greatest television show, at least reality television show, in Survivor. We got a lot of emails, correct me if I'm wrong, saying I watched the season you guys are talking about, season 40, but now I'm going back and I'm watching all these other seasons. And what season should I watch? And what's the best one? Where do I go? You're talking about this player because they were all returning players. Which one of their seasons, first time they played, should I go watch? So I'll just say, I think we really helped, create some new Survivor fans with the No Buffs podcast. And I did not think that was going to be the case. I thought that's going to be one a lot of people skip and don't download. But the numbers weren't that bad for that particular show. And, we had Wendell in the studio. It was a blast. So
they were
I
great.
think we're Survivor influencers, and I hope it helps our chances of one day getting on the show. I just want Jeff Probst to take note of that.
I was shocked that the people that wrote in and said that they are marathoning all 40 seasons. They went back and from the very beginning. And I wouldn't have done that. That's 20 maybe, but God,
20 maybe.
20 seasons maybe. But
Yeah, I think a couple are on. A couple are on Netflix now. I saw a couple Survivor seasons, maybe a handful of them. Yeah,
Heroes and Villains and something else.
Yeah, Cagayan, I think maybe.
Maybe
Is it? Oh, okay. It's the one. No, yeah, I think it is because I follow Woo on Instagram, and it's one he's on for sure because the people are like tagging him in a bunch of photos, and it's on Netflix. So that was Kagayan, right? Yeah,
I think so. Yeah,
yeah, with Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great time to jump in.
Oh,
Always a
great
time. To jump in.
Finally, that finally came true.
Honestly,
I can't believe I follow 2 Survivor people on Instagram. One follows me back. I think Wendell follows all of us, but I follow him and he follows me, and then I follow Parvati as well. It was great. It was such a fun one-off season. I think it will be. That's probably all it'll be for me, but it was a great time to jump in, and it worked, and it was perfect.
All right, that's my answer.
Not that huge a fan. Then he's done that.
Yeah. I mean, no, come on. We got Lee to watch Survivor for a whole season. That's a win. That's a win in my book. You didn't watch every episode.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to go back and watch those early, but like with Adam, for example, I loved him and hated him. I felt that was a part of the Survivor experience. Having your villain there and then waiting until the end to see who really was going to pull it off.
Don't spoil it. Don't spoil it for anyone that hasn't watched it. You're about to. I know you are.
Yeah, but
I know you are.
Oh, yeah.
You're so obvious. All right. Anyone else got an answer for this?
I randomly, I don't know when this was, but this was like the biggest thing that I got feedback on was I recommended a book series called the Century series by Ken Follett. It's just like this massive. They're each 1,000 pages, but I have by far the most feedback saying, "Thank you so much for recommending that book. I loved it. I've read the whole thing, and it was just like, wow, we got a lot of readers in our audience. It's great. It's great.
Yeah,
very surprised that they took me up on that.
Smart people out there.
Are they reading or are they audibling? Which
it doesn't matter. Tasky.
I agree. Now more and more I hear. I read that book on Audible. Which the verb is I read it, and I think that's the way it's going to go. There hasn't been a word invented for listening to an audiobook. People are reading while listening. It's crazy. But yeah, especially with a 1,000-page book, I'm sure people are flying through it via Audible. How many hours is that?
I don't know. It's
36 hours on the reader.
One. Wow, 36.
Yeah.
Wow. That's still a commitment right there. You can watch a whole Survivor series in 36 hours. Yeah. Trey, you got an answer for this one?
Yeah, over the summer, once the shutdown happened, my buddy Adam's like, hey, man, you're going to destroy your Achilles if you take a year off from basketball and then go and try and play. You got to do something jumping-wise to keep up with it. So I started jumping rope. And apparently if you jump rope outside, you're going to make other people want to jump rope outside because people see it and they're like, oh, yeah, I remember doing that when I was a wee child. I suppose I could do it again today. And then it's interesting to see which kind of people come out. There's a really fit guy who lives here who is a basketball player, and that guy is whipping the rope around. But then we also got a guy who comes out there and jumps, doesn't look quite as smooth, but he's definitely jacked. I'm like, this guy is a wrestler. Look at those moves. You can tell a wrestler's jump rope from a basketball player so instantly. But yeah, if you jump rope outside, it reminds people that they know how to jump rope, and it's pretty easy to do.
It's actually hypnotizing watching like a boxer going through his skipping routine, where they're just dancing. Yeah, it's awesome to watch.
Yeah, there's some great like Mike Tyson YouTube clips from back in the day, but you go back and watch it and you're like, these guys are so good at jumping rope that they don't even jump rope eventually. They're just like holding it to the side and whipping it back and forth, but they're jumping up and down and you're convinced they're actually jumping rope. How are they doing that? Oh, they're not jumping over anything.
Yeah.
Mike Tyson, Saturday. He's back, baby.
Oh, is that this weekend?
How is that possible? How is that possible? Roy Jones Jr., good luck, buddy.
So what's that cost you to get? Any idea?
Probably $50.
I think it's about a 50. You get Nate Robinson and one of the Paul brothers on the undercard.
Brody Ball?
I always get my Logans and my Jakes confused, so I'm not even going to throw out the first name.
I forgot about that. Wow, that's happening this weekend, eh? All right, excellent.
We're promoting. We're talking about it mere months ago, and it is here.
Okay.
I know we said a little earlier we were going to try and mention every single No Dunks sponsor on this show, and there's no question that relates to Hawthorne, a men's grooming company. So I wanted to throw Hawthorne in here. An accidental influencer, me, not yet with Hawthorne, but I am predicting in the future that I have managed to influence their packaging, because I made some complaints about it a few months ago.
There we go.
The print was falling off in the steamy showers, falling off their bottles. They're going to change the print. I believe in that.
Yeah.
They got to do it. Shampoo and conditioner bottles are exactly the same. I reach for the conditioner when I'm looking for the shampoo. Got to change that. A new cap. Let's do it. Bottle type's very slippery in the shower. So I'm predicting that all those things will be changed, and I will be the reason for it. Hawthorne, is it a coincidence that they haven't sponsored our show since I made all those complaints? Probably not. Hawthorne, not going to be on No Dunks anytime soon, but I do like their products. We obviously we get some of the freebies from these companies. Hawthorne is one that I repurchased on my own. Went back and did a click and made the purchase. So thanks to them. I tease because I love.
It's a good product. When? Lee, do you have an answer for this?
Yeah, well, the funny thing is, just last night on Twitter, I got a tweet from a lady who was saying,
An
she said,
lady?
"Oh, what?
An old lady?
No, not the 85.
Get in the van. Let's go."
But I was included in a thread. This lady said, "As a big old nerd and hardly a fitness person, Bar3 Online has been a lifesaver while at home. No back, hip pain, what riding at a dodgy desk setup." And then it said, it was her boyfriend that actually suggested the article of mine in Bar3 magazine to give it a try, because it's not a gendered thing. And then she said it's great, and it helps her out. And she said, and I said to her, "Well, that's great to hear, Greta." And then she wrote back and said, not Greta Thunberg, by the way. And then she wrote back and said, "Thanks for bringing it to our attention. Accessible for newbies, kind on joints, but also can be really challenging when you need it to be." And I think that's a perfect way to sum up Bar3. It's for everybody. And it's great. You guys have done it, except for JD, of course. But I think you can attest.
Of course.
Well, I know. I only saying because we did a group. Matt and JD were supposed to come, but they didn't. But so still influencing those Bar3 classes, which is great.
I would love for them to make a Bar3 calendar, and for you to be one of the photos.
If I'm not mistaken, there is a great picture of Lee that can be used for that calendar on the Bar3 website of him just doing a low squat.
It's coming. This thing is uploading so goddamn slow. Keep tap dancing, Trey.
Yeah. Once the article was mentioned, I had to hit the Googles pretty quick. We got to see this picture. It's amazing to think that this article lured somebody else in doing Bar3. They're like, if this guy can drop it this low, I can drop it this low. There's a lot of work to go into.
Now, what month would you like, Lee, for this photo to be featured in the calendar?
Good choice. I think early. I want to be February. I think I want to be a February guy.
Okay.
I don't think you want to get to the end of the year when people start sort of focusing on the next year. Right. You want it to be like, all right, let's get up there early. Show that it can be for men and women. So
okay,
yeah.
Well, here it comes.
There we go.
There's Lily in a deep squat, holding a basketball, because he's got to hold a basketball. Oh, wow, look at how youthful you look here.
Oh, no, that must be 4 years ago, I suppose.
God,
yeah.
The number of old women out there with vans right now wishing they could pick up that young lad. Oh my God, get in, honey.
I like that the title of Lee's article on the Bar3 website is "How Bar3 Improved My Basketball Game and Made Me a Better Dad." Whereas CJ McCollum, an actual basketball player, here's what he has to say about Bar3. I do love that.
Well, that definitely improved my shooting. There's no doubt about it. No doubt about it. That core is tightened up and improved. It's a little loose at the moment, to be honest, but we'll get back into it hopefully at some point.
Okay. All right, next one. Hi, No Dunks. Do you remember the joy of waking up to find out that school was canceled because it's a snow day? Similar idea, but it's also sometimes a relief to bag plans to do something and to do nothing instead. Comedian John Mulaney says that canceling plans is like heroin. I was listening to your most recent podcast, and when Skeet said it was time for an ad, no ad happened. As good as your ad reads are, it was euphoric to get off the hook without a break in the great conversation happening. So 2 questions. Who is to blame for that blunder? Is it JD? Well, I don't blame him. It's hard making the magic happen, and it's a nice treat when the ad gets skipped. 2, When's a time you were delighted that something was canceled? Turnips, have some fries, blossom. That's from Ollie in Newton, Massachusetts. So, JD, were you to blame for that blunder when I said there was an ad read break and there was no ads?
Well, blunder, a little harsh. No, I mean, God. But no, it wasn't my fault. It's to peek back behind the curtain. We've got a new podcast server, and it uses dynamic ads. So when we do a live read, I have to take those ads out of the show, upload the show without the ads, and then mark where I want the ads to be. So they have to live separately. Mm-hmm. And we're supposed to mark those ads whether or not we do an ad, right? Because if they sell the ads, if the Athletic sells the ads, then that's great. But if they don't, then this company that's hosting the podcast may also sell ads.
Gotcha.
We don't know if they've sold them or not. So we have to put the breaks in anyway. So that's what's happening there. It's a break that hasn't been sold essentially, but I've kind of stopped doing that. So we don't throw to those. If there's no ad sold, I'll just pop them in. And then if you randomly hear an ad, then you'll hear an ad or not. So back off with the blunder, man. It's not a blunder. It's just this system that we're just trying to get used to. Jeez.
Jesus,
he said he was happy that it was a nice little treat for him that he didn't have to listen to ads.
Didn't have to listen. He's going to hate this podcast.
Yeah, no kidding.
It's like
just wait, we're not done.
15-second skip, 15-second skip, 15-second movement, Manscaped, Hawthorne, Magic Spoon. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So, but anyway, in answer to the question, a time that I was delighted, when I was working as a server in a major restaurant chain at Yonge and Dundas. There, every time I had a patio shift and it rained, sweet relief. Tornado warning, you say? Oh, that's a shame. That's a shame. I guess I'll just pack everything up and sure, it's going to cost. Am I going to make rent? I don't know. I don't care.
Wow. So you hated going out on the patio? Would you like being outside? I mean, that part would be nice.
Oh, I just hated the job. I was serving tables. It was like 10 years into serving tables. I wanted to kill myself. But it's a double-edged sword, though, because you're on the patio and it looks sort of, it might rain. Yeah, this could be very good. But then it doesn't rain and the sun comes out and you're like, God damn it. I got to stay. I got to work.
I always wondered, was it hell when you had a big patio packed and you're working those tables and then it does rain and people scramble to go inside? I always wonder, how is that? Like, it seems like there's no real system in place.
There is
to manage for that.
Pure chaos. And you got to chase people down and sometimes people just leave and it's, it's not good. It's not good.
So if you wanted to skip out on paying your bill, that would be the prime opportunity.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like torrential downpour, everybody runs inside and you just walk out the door. Yeah. just walk out.
Okay, good to know.
You might get chased down. I've chased people down before. Down Yonge Street. Apron flying.
Wow.
It comes out of your pocket.
Yeah, no, I know. I am not encouraging anyone to do this. I think it's just a nice little life hack to know. If I'm a little short on money one of these days, I'm just gonna watch the weather report.
Wait for rain.
Go ahead.
Mario's not paying for that. Come on, Mario, pony up. Man.
Wow. Okay. Wow, that's a great answer for that one. And John Mulaney is right. Sometimes a cancel plan is. You're like, yeah, sweet. Does anyone else have an answer to this, like JD's?
Roxana, a friend of Roxana's, this is a long time ago, back in Toronto. She was one of those ones. It was her birthday week, like 8 different celebrations for the same
Get out
birthday.
of here with that. Get out of here with that. I'm with
Anyway, so it was like a Thursday night drinks and then a Saturday night dinner and then it was a Sunday like coffee, something.
Jesus,
how
old is this person?
Oh, like 29 or some irrelevant number. Anyway, but it was in February. Right? So the Thursday night, okay, you make the effort. Saturday dinner, sure. Sunday was one of those just awful Februaries in Toronto. It was windy and cold and snowy. And I remember I was like, I'd mentally prepared, all right, we have to go. But Roxana was she was like, oh man, we've seen a lot of these people. And it's like, it's not pleasant going outside. It's almost like a blizzard. And so she was looking for me to like, do you really want to go? And I'm like, oh, I'll go if you want to go, sort of thing. But I'm also like, oh, it looks a bit ugly out there, doesn't it? And so I could just tell she didn't want to go, but I didn't want to be the guy. I didn't want to be the one who's like, it's your friend, so I'll go if you want to go. But she, in the end, she just sort of said, yeah, let's just not go. And I was just like, yeah.
It's heroin. It is heroin, isn't it?
I'm telling you, man. It was tough for the weather, but it was also, I was inside like, there's no way you're getting 3 celebrations for one ridiculous birthday. Just get out of here.
That's insane.
Oh my God.
Like two's pushing it. I mean, two's insane. Let's be honest, two's insane if you're a grown ass adult.
Yeah. Especially for a non-milestone birthday,
Yes. An irrelevant number, as you said.
Yeah.
29.
Like
Although
30,
29 is an important
40.
number in February. That's what year it is.
After 21, it's 30, 40, 50, and that's it. And then every change of decade, that's it. Yeah. No other.
Maybe one night of that week, she was celebrating you being the February bar 3 guy.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Man.
We're going to have a huge party. If you're in the bar 3 calendar, oh man, it's going to be huge.
We're partying for a week. Yeah.
There were some great comments in the stream team here. Oh, February for Lee, the shortest month of the year. That's perfect. That'll do.
Yeah.
Any other answers for that one?
Yeah, I don't know if Trey does. No. Okay. Next one then.
Nah. All right. Ahoy, no dunks. I was recently listening to the Athletics TIFO football podcast, and out of nowhere, like a LeBron chase down block pinned to the backboard, I hear the sweet, sweet bass of Taz Mellis's voice talking about his Indochino suit. I was as surprised as Lee when a grown man shit in his partitioned hospital room. My condolences, Lee. Just like Taz's voice on the soccer podcast, what are some of your other favorite crossovers? Up the Shells, Go Pacers, Fudge the Heat. That's from Simon B. in Indianapolis. I can start us off here. Legend Bill Walton, he used to call NBA games, but now he only does NCAA. But ESPN had one of those crossover days where the NCAA guys did the NBA games and vice versa. It was a couple of years ago, Warriors, Blazers. It was hilarious. We have a clip where he starts by talking about his involvement in the celebrity game at All-Star Weekend. Listen to Bill.
Didn't you coach, play, and broadcast a game all at the same time?
All at the same time, yeah. And, man, we got the shaft. It was awful. Terrell Owens showed up late. Stephen A. stole him. And then they came back. They talked to the referees behind closed doors, and that was the end of it. I was never so disappointed. I never lost more faith in humanity than that moment.
Is your coaching record 0-1 therefore?
No, I did that a lot. That was on the way to the hospital in my deathbit. Yes.
Nurkic just picked up a foul. Let's move on. His second personal.
Hey, the Warriors are playing great.
Bill Walton takes us on a ride. That was so random.
I was pissed.
You just reminded me of the clip. I think it's because we were talking birthdays where I think he's with Dave Pash. It must be a college
Dave
game where
Pash sets him up perfectly.
Where Bill Walton eats the cupcake and it's got the candle lit on top of it.
Yeah.
It's so good. That is the only grown adults that I would celebrate like 10 birthdays in a row.
Yeah, right.
Walton, that's it. He's the only one that I would do that for.
He's got the great clip too of him calling James Worthy to wish him a happy birthday.
Oh yeah, it's like what a birthday concert.
Bill with 2 L's. Bill Walton for your birthday party, you can have 3 of them. Even if it's your 29th birthday.
Yeah,
I would make an exception for Bill for sure.
Luke Walton was tossed from that game as well. Bill Walton's son, obviously, and he said, "I have failed as a father. Well, first he said, "Oh, Luke, he got tossed from the game? I had no idea. I've failed as a father." Perfect, Bill.
Does anyone have an answer for this one? Another answer, excuse me. Lee, you got anything?
Well, I really like seeing Ariel Helwani, who's known more so in the UFC MMA world, when he's been on the sidelines in the NBA games, because he's a very accomplished NBA fan and knows so much about the game, and slots right in there perfectly. So it's great to see guys branch out like that and look comfortable. You know, it's not just tokenism. Like, Ariel knows his stuff. He knows what he's talking about. And he's been great. I had him on Pop and Packs earlier in the year, and he was incredible on that too. So great to see Ariel doing so well. Another fellow Canadian boy there too.
Good answer. Trey, you got one?
I too love a TV crossover. I thought Lee was going to take mine. Mine is the time that Lisa Kudrow showed up on Friends as her character Ursula from Mad About You, playing her character from Friends, Phoebe Buffay's twin sister. Nobody knew that Ursula and Phoebe were twin sisters on different shows played by the same person. They got them in the same room, and it all made sense. The entire NBC lineup takes place in the same universe. Mind-blowing stuff.
Whoa.
If I ever build a time machine, I'm going to go back in time and use that GIF for that episode. That's all I'm using it for, though.
All right, great answers, guys. We still got a few more questions, but one more ad break to hear from our sponsors.
It's not easy to prioritize yourself when there's a lot on your plate, but investing in your mental health has long-term benefits. And with Talkspace, it can actually be affordable. Between constant news and the pandemic, and now the election, there's a lot to be anxious about. If you're feeling overwhelmed, I'm right here with you. I think most people are. 2020 has been crazy. Even though we're all kind of isolated from each other, we're in it together because we're all going through this crazy time. And with Talkspace online therapy, you can connect with a licensed therapist for a fraction of the price of in-person therapy. Get matched with your perfect therapist from the comfort of your device and reach out 24/7 whenever something's on your mind. Unlike in-person therapy sessions, Talkspace gives you 24/7 access to your online therapy room. You can send unlimited messages to your dedicated therapist, and they'll respond daily, 5 days a week. Best of all, an entire month on Talkspace costs the same amount as a single in-person session. Instead of waiting for an appointment, you can send your message to your therapist and they will reply any 5 days of the week. And now Talkspace covers 40 million people for online therapy through their insurer or employer. The Talkspace network is composed of thousands of licensed therapists who have experience in over. Sorry,
what's wrong with you?
I just let me start again. The Talkspace network is composed. Stop laughing.
You're laughing, man.
I'm laughing because you're laughing. You can't read.
I can't read today. I've got it all laid out here. I cannot read. Anyway.
Hey, when are we celebrating your birthday? Any of the 5 days of the week? Maybe all of them.
The Talkspace network is composed of thousands of licensed therapists who have experience in over 40 specialties. Including but not limited to treating depression, anxiety, substance abuse, trauma, relationship issues, food, and much more. Sorry, JD, I don't know how you're going to cut this.
The perspiration is filling up those bifocals.
Oh man!
Can we get Grammarly in here? Maybe
I know. I was watching outtakes of The Office the other day, and I think this set me up because there's one where they just cannot get through it. Anyway, the bottom line is we all need someone to talk to. Talkspace wants to give us the support we deserve.
What? Come
on. As a listener of this podcast. Oh my God, you get $100 off your first month on Talkspace. To match with your perfect therapist, go to Talkspace.com or download the app. Make sure you use the code NODUNKS to get $100 off your first month and show your support for the show. That's NODUNKS and Talkspace.com. Oh, God.
I'm glad that was the Talkspace ad.
remember my first ad read.
Wow. Look at his glasses. Okay, what the hell is going on here?
You know the offers I'm talking about though. It's like when he's there with Tim and he's doing his review and he's like, we're both in our 30s, and then he's like, who's to say in a couple of years, keep your head down. You'll be in the. When I'm nearly 40.
Next question. Okay. Wow. I haven't had one of those in a while. Hi, Dinky Winkies.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy. Hey, Chris.
Isn't that what your mom called you when you were a kid?
Yeah.
Weenie, winky, dinky.
Yeah. She would call me Dinky Winky. I would call her Winky Dinky.
That's from your mom? All right. Hi, Dinky Winkies. That's how it started. I was listening to an NPR podcast this morning, and instead of skipping through their inferior, boring ad reads like I usually do, I decided to let them play. Yeah, I can't imagine those ad reads go for 10 minutes with an Australian just laughing through a Talkspace ad. I'm glad I did, too, because one of the ads was for none other than Hamarkeslama. I was overjoyed to see that the Hamarkeslama was buying ads on podcasts because that means there's some slight possibility we could get a classic J.E. Skeets Top 5 Hamarkeslama catalog gifts sponsored by Hamarkeslama. If you could pick one company to sponsor a particular segment on the show outside of your already lovely sponsors, who would it be and why? Tone up, buns and thighs, Jeffrey Chaucer. That is from Chris. Chris, that is a great question. And I have not received the Hamarkeslama catalog yet, but I'm sure it's on its way. And if it does arrive, or when it does arrive, I definitely will hit you with a top 5 as we get a little bit closer to Christmas. But it's a good question, Trey. A sponsor you'd love to see, a company, I guess, to sponsor a particular segment on the show. Who would you pick?
Well, basically every industry has some sort of subscription box these days. Skeets, I remember you used to like Wink a lot. They would send you your wine. JD, if I'm not mistaken, you did Stitch Fix for clothing at some point.
Oh, yes.
There's one for fishing too. It's called Mystery Tackle Box. And I want them to sponsor Rippin' Lips because I caught a huge one.
Look at that.
On a bait from a mystery tackle box, a 5-pounder on a chartreuse crankbait. You gotta love it. I started this year off really wanting to dunk. Then it turned out we couldn't actually be in gyms, and jumping on concrete is really bad for your knees. So this, to me, catching a big old bass actually felt like finally dunking. It's I didn't put something into something, but I pulled something out, and that was good enough.
Wow, that is 5 pounds.
Dude,
it looks
awesome, man.
Looks even bigger than that, if I'm being honest. It looks like you could serve that in a beautiful Lima restaurant.
Not quite big enough.
No? Oh, well, that's a nice pull there. So what a way to end this. There. We got to Photoshop in Lee, Trey, and I don't know, Steppin or somebody.
I would love it. Lee could be standing in the front of it, maybe.
So that was your best catch of the entire season, basically on what you're calling sort of your last day out there.
Well, that was the last day I knew I was going to be able to film something, and it's getting colder. Not going to be out fishing much longer, but I went out there to film with a plan, and it actually worked and got a big one. It was cool, man. I was loving it.
So Mystery Tackle Box, that's what they're called. They need
Mystery Tackle Box. Yeah, they sponsor all my YouTube fishermen. So maybe we're next on the list.
All right, I hope so, man. I hope so. Tass, Lee, JD, got an answer?
Yeah, well, I'll jump in here. Damian Lillard, known for his 4-bar Fridays, his raps.
Yep.
He can sponsor our 5-Star Friday segment where Trey reads no dunk reviews. Dame could rap the intro.
Oh, I like that.
In turn, sell some records, get into our NBA fan base. Yo, it's 5-Star Friday, and I'm here to say we got to stop pollution in a major way. Oh, no, that's not good. It's 5-Star Friday, and I'm here to say no dunks drops classics like every day.
Yeah, there you go.
Come on, game. Get in here.
That's a good idea. JD, Lily, got one?
I think that every time there isn't a wedgie, we should get an underwear sponsor, like like one of those non-wedgie. I think Mac Weldon sells. What they say, you're not going to get a wedgie with these underwear. So every day there isn't a wedgie, we run another wedgie-free day. It's brought to you by Mac Weldon.
Wow. Yeah, that stuff right. It's good, JD. That's fantastic. Okay. Hopefully somebody's listening. You never know who's listening to this. Lee, you got one? Who's sponsored Poppin' Packs?
Yeah, exactly. I think Hoops or Upper Deck or Tops or Flair, one of those guys have got to come on board because, I've basically run out of cards from other than like the early 90s era. I want those late 90s era. So I think one of them should come on board and supply me with some of those ones. So it's an obvious choice here. I can say, hey, presented today by Tops, the best basketball cards in the game. Something like that.
Well, I hope they don't listen to your late battery. You ain't getting any sponsors, mate. Oh, man. Okay, that's great. Great answers, guys, all around. Okay, a few more questions.
Yeah, a couple more here. Hello, No Donkeys. The other day I noticed an ad read where instead of No Dunks, the promo code was TAS, not ass, which made it seem like the company was sponsoring TAS specifically, not the show. No, not a chance. That got me thinking about what the rest of you jokers could have done to get yourselves cut out of the deal. That led me to my question. What's something you'd be a perfect brand ambassador for, but the other guys aren't right for it at all? For example, maybe Lee could be the spokesperson for some sort of reverse toilet if the rest of you weren't holding him back. Fair question.
I guess so.
Love the show. Turn up, blah, blah, blah. That's from Dave in Queens. Skeets, you got an answer for this? You'd be the perfect guy for, but the rest of us, we wouldn't fit on the toilet.
Skinny jeans. I can get them. Yeah, give me the skinny jeans. We can work something. I don't know what clothing brand we can make that happen. Maybe even just skinny joggers. I'm wearing a lot of skinny joggers. Like I said, I haven't worn a lot of jeans since February. I haven't worn them since February. So the skinny joggers, though, whoo, now it's a little chilly in the air in Atlanta on those morning walks with the pup. So comfortable. So, yeah, talk to me, Nike. Let's do some No Dunk skinny joggers by Skeets.
Or whenever you're finally ready to wear jeans again, that's when you finally come back. I'm back! Wearing jeans.
Yeah, I just jump into them.
Very cool.
Yeah, we could do something. We could film something. What do you got, Trey?
I want a Patagonia sponsorship. Patagonia is good if you're jumping into a pool doing a sea ball, or if you're out trying to rip some lips. From summer to fall to winter, you can wear Patagonia any time of year. Get at me. I look like I should be wearing Patagonia.
You are, aren't you?
You are.
Oh, yeah, I am. Right.
What a coinky dick. Patagonia's a great company.
Yeah.
What a B Corp. They are a great company. I love it.
What do you got for this? Well, I mean, I guess you already got your you got something else though you could do?
Well, listen, I don't want to limit you guys. I think you guys could sponsor a Greek yogurt brand, but I think that's a little bit more my speed. So
Sure.
if Oikos wants to come on board, I know John Stamos is their man. I'm more of a Faye guy, but I've got some experience. I tried starting my own line, the Tassos Greek yogurt brand, way back when we interviewed Giannis Antetokounmpo, and I tried to get him in his rookie year to sponsor it,
right?
To market it. Didn't really take off, but maybe now that Giannis is a big name, we can rework it. The yogurt's still good. It's still collecting that bacterial culture in my fridge. I still have that particular package, that particular yogurt. It's in my fridge from 7 years ago. It's still good. We can still eat it.
All right. Lily, you got something?
Yeah, I would like an airline to sponsor me to do something so I can go traveling, because I would go full Mo Verney if they put the whole family up in first class. I'd be taking the phone all the way through it. I'd just do story after story after story. I'd give them their money's worth. So I think it's great. We could do some sort of travel series with that, and I could even have Mo Verney come along as a special correspondent at times. I think it'd be great. A great business for everybody.
Okay. Final one here. This is a really nice email. Hi, guys. I wanted to write to you for years, but it has become more urgent lately. I'm a daddy of 2 boys, practicing cardiologist, an NBA fan, and an amateur basketball player, in that order, from Poland. I've been a big fan of yours since the early episodes of The Starters. Taking care of the kids who are aged 9 and 3, doing 24-hour shifts 5 to 6 times a month, and loads of everyday work at the hospital has been challenging. For a few years now, You're my only source of information about the NBA. I barely manage to watch games all year long. I sneak in like 4 or 5. And the only reason I'm still able to compete with my friends in fantasy basketball leagues because of you guys. When I thought it couldn't get any harder, the pandemic started, and now I miss how, quote, hard it was a year ago. I won't go into details, but I got to say that 6 years of studies and 12 years of work didn't prepare me for what I have to deal with every day now. It takes a toll on me both physically and even more so mentally. I want to thank all of you guys very much for being there. My kids, wife, and your podcast are the only things that keep me sane during these days. After listening to you for all those years, you're like friends, especially during hospital shifts. I listen to the podcast as a form of therapy, and it works. So keep up the good work. Take care. You're really needed. I need you, and my patients need me. So no pressure there. That's from Milos. P.S. I hope this letter is readable. I don't have Grammarly. Well, it was well done. It was fantastic. That's a very, very kind email, and thank you so much. We do get the occasional emails like this, and we really, we read them all, and we really appreciate them. So thank you so much for sending that in, and thank you for all your hard work, and stay safe, of course, during these troubling times, especially if you're a healthcare worker. My God, I can't imagine how you guys are still doing this. So thank you. That's it. Let's call it there, guys. Keep your questions and your comments coming for the next Beach Steppin podcast. Email them in, nodunks@theathletic.com, or you can tweet them in at nodunks_inc. Subscribe and like No Dunks on YouTube. Be a stream teamer. We're nearing, I think, 20,000 subs. Getting very close. So help us hit that goal, that little milestone. That'd be great. Just subscribe to us on YouTube. Even if you don't watch the show, and if you listen to the podcast, it would help us out. Remember, I said it off the top, tomorrow, November 26th, I think it kicks in at 3 p.m. Eastern. The Athletic's Black Friday deal. This one, it's wild. $1 a month for 12 months. The best sports coverage in the world on the best deal of the year. Get all The Athletic all year long. Just $1 a month for 12 months. You can cancel anytime. This deal good for you to sign up. It runs from November 26th to December 4th. So you got a few days. Go to theathletic.com/nodunks so they know that we sent you. Theathletic.com/nodunks for that unbelievable Black Friday deal. $1 a month for 12 months. My goodness. All right, guys. I think we ended with a really fun one here. Barring any sort of emergency podcast that we would have to do because a big name were to be traded, we're going to take a break. We are finally going to take an actual break here. We've been podcasting for a full-on straight year. I mean, seriously, how many? We've done like 355, 356 episodes. We need to recharge the batteries a little bit before the season starts. We're going to have season previews starting December 14th, which is only a couple weeks from now. So again, outside of an emergency podcast because of a Westbrook trade, a Harden trade, something big happening in the NBA, we're going to actually take a few weeks off here. So we will be back for sure December 14th, and you never know in between time. Might have something like a special guest or something like that, but who knows? Guys, next season's starting very, very soon here. So we'll take off, a little Thanksgiving here and a week or two, and then kick it back off on December 14th. Can't wait. I actually can't wait to start watching basketball again. I'm getting sort of close already, but it's still, a good month away. So thank you so much for joining us. Guys, happy Thanksgiving. Sad I'm not going to see any of you. I know we usually get together, most of us. Lee tries to make a gravy.
Finally! We went an hour and a half without mentioning Lee's gravy debacle. That would have been a travesty if I didn't bring that up. That was almost my answer for somebody whose advice you took because you had to take it. Yeah, I know how to make gravy.
It's all right. I've only got my wife and 2 boys to disappoint tomorrow with my gravy. They don't know any better. So.
Right. They think it's the greatest gravy in the world.
They think that's how gravy should be, so they don't know anything different.
Right. All right. Well, happy Thanksgiving to all our American listeners. Happy Thanksgiving to you guys. Clipper Bros, take us home.
You heard it here first. Have a great time. Turn up. Love you guys. Awesome.
Thank you so much for listening to our all brands edition of Mailbag. And remember, we need an anti-fog glasses sponsor. Yes. Look at this guy's fogging up.
Oh, man.
Hook us up. Hook this man up. Wipe those windows clean.
These are Armani's too.
Embrace your turkey, people.
Just one more.
You could stay